All right, everyone, are you ready to journey back in time with me? Let's dive deep into ancient Korea with Queen Wu.
Ooh, Queen Wu. I've heard things.
Yep.
Good things.
Right. It's this historical K-drama that has everyone talking, and we're here to see if it lives up to the hype.
Love it. So are we talking about like a full-on historical deep dive?
You know it. We're dissecting a review from World Wonders Drama. They really break down the plot, the characters, you name it.
All right, you've got my attention. Lay it on me. What's the historical backdrop?
Buckle up, because we're talking 2nd century Goguryeo.
Goguryeo. Now, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. This isn't some small-time kingdom.
Not at all. Think major power players, but with all the drama that comes with it. Warring clans, whispers of rebellion, the whole shebang.
Ooh, palace intrigue. Okay, now you're speaking my language. So who are the major players in this Game of Thrones?
Well, it all starts with King Gonamu. He's just returned from a big victory against the Han Dynasty. You'd think he'd be met with parades and celebrations.
Yeah, sounds like a recipe for jealousy and resentment, if you ask me. Not everyone likes a winner.
Exactly. And that's where the drama kicks in. Some ambitious ministers are less than thrilled about the king's success.
I bet. Someone's always waiting in the wings, ready to snatch power for themselves. So where does our Queen Wu-hee fit into all of this?
She is right in the thick of it, let me tell you. The reviewer paints her as this brilliant strategist, a total warrior queen.
Okay, I'm already intrigued. What does she do? Give me an example.
So there's this scene where she's basically directing the king's battle strategy from inside the palace walls. Like, she's the one calling the shots.
Whoa, hold on. That's pretty unusual for that time period, right?
Yeah.
Women weren't exactly leading armies.
You're telling me. It's not every day you see a historical drama, especially one set in this era where the queen is the king's intellectual equal.
That's a bold move by the writers. I'm impressed. It definitely sets the stage for some intense power dynamics.
Oh, it definitely does. And get this, it's not just the king and queen calling the shots. We've got a prime minister, Paso, throw into the mix as well.
Whoa! A power triangle. This just got good.
Right. You don't see that every day. Having both the queen and the prime minister operating as strategic partners to the king, that's a recipe for some serious fireworks.
Oh, for sure. And it makes you wonder, with all these power players vying for control, how does the show portray the other women in the story?
That's a really good question, and it's something the reviewer touches on. While Queen Wu-hee gets this dynamic portrayal, the same can't be said for all the female characters.
Oh no, really? Don't tell me they fall into those tired old tropes.
I hate to say it, but yeah, some of them do. There's this missed opportunity to really dig into the complexities of women in this era. Instead, the show sometimes relies on those overly sexualized portrayals.
That's a shame, especially with such a promising setup. You've got this amazing historical backdrop, these power struggles, and then...
Yeah, it's like they had all the right ingredients for something truly special, but didn't quite nail the recipe.
a perfect analogy. I'm curious to see, as we go deeper, if Queen Wu can overcome this early misstep. And you know, the show doesn't waste any time piling on the drama. We're talking a whole cast of characters that make King Go-Namu's court, well, let's just say a dangerous place to be.
Ooh, I'm ready for it. The more scheming and backstabbing, the better. Give me all the details. Who should we be watching out for?
Right alongside our king, queen, and prime minister, there's this guy, Haedaebu. He's the Westminster, and he firmly believes the throne should alternate between his clan and the king's family.
So I'm guessing he's not exactly throwing a welcome back party for Queen Wu-hee then.
Not quite. Let's just say he is not thrilled about her prominent position. He's definitely one to watch, always lurking in the background, just waiting for the right moment to make his move.
Oh, I love those types of characters, the ones where you're never quite sure what they'll do next. But it sounds like external threats aren't the only thing Queen Wu-hee has to deal with.
Definitely not. It wouldn't be a good K-drama without some juicy family drama, right? And Woo-hee's older sister, Woo-sun, does not disappoint. Talk about a study in jealousy and ambition. She is convinced that she should be queen.
Oh, sibling rivalry. There's nothing quite like it. It's so raw and intense, way more than just a rivalry between courtiers.
Totally. The reviewer even points out that Woo-sun, while driven by her own desires, is also pretty easily manipulated, which makes her a wild card in the Game of Thrones. Dangerous to everyone, including herself.
Ooh, I like that. It keeps things interesting. The viewers never know who to trust. Sounds like we need to make some popcorn and settle in. This is about to get good. So who else? Who else is making waves?
Buckle up, because we have the third prince, Go-balki. And let me tell you, the reviewer does not hold back, calls him a straight-up callous tyrant. This guy is ruthless, willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead.
Wow, even worse than a power-hungry minister and a jealous sister. Now that's saying something. What makes him so bad? Give me the dirt.
He has zero conscience, does not care who he hurts. He'd even get rid of his own wife if it meant clearing a path to power.
Now that's cold. And to think he's a potential suitor for the queen if she were ever to become a widow. Chilling to think about what he'd do to try and secure that position.
Right. He's a great example of how the show tries to find that balance. You know,
Yep.
that line between giving the audience the historical accuracy, but also keeping it dramatic.
For sure. But we can't forget about the king. Speaking of drama, the show doesn't leave us hanging about his fate for too long. Remember that triumphant return from battle we were talking about? Yeah, it's cut tragically short.
Oh, no, you're kidding me. He doesn't make it.
Yeah.
How does it happen? Tell me everything.
You know how it is in these historical dramas? Poison, of course.
Classic. With a court full of schemers, it must be impossible to figure out who did it.
Right. It's like, was it the person with the most obvious motive, or is it someone we haven't even considered yet? It's a real head-scratcher. The show keeps us guessing, throws in hints about the shaman, Sabi, even that suspicious minister, Song-woo.
Oh, I love it when a show keeps you on your toes. So many possibilities. But it sounds like we don't get a definitive answer.
Sadly, no. At least not in the first 8 episodes. The reviewer makes a point of saying it's frustrating to be left hanging like that.
I get that.
Yeah.
Investing in a show only to be left with unanswered questions is tough. But I have a feeling Queen Woo-hee doesn't just sit back and let everyone walk all over her. How does she react to this whole power vacuum?
You already know. She is not one to just blend into the background. She's smart, remember. She immediately knows that she's in danger. Her enemies will come for her. So what does she do? She makes a daring escape from the palace.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. Our warrior queen, on the run, enemies closing in. It's like something straight out of an action movie. I need to know more. Where does she go? What's her plan?
Okay, so she knows that she needs to maintain her power, right? Keep the kingdom from falling into the wrong hands. And in this era, there was really only one option for a queen in her position.
Oh, really? Do tell. Fill me in. What's her power move?
Levirate marriage.
Levirate marriage. You're going to have to explain that one. I have no idea what that is.
It's this really interesting custom where a widow marries her late husband's brother. It kept the family line secure, but in the situation, it would also allow Woo-hee to keep her status and her influence.
Wow. I'd never heard of that before. It really shows the limited options women had back then, even when they were powerful, like Queen Woo-hee.
Right.
But I can only imagine the political maneuvering that went on. Who to marry, who to trust. Talk about pressure.
Right. The show definitely delivers on the drama. She's got a few options, and none of them are ideal. There's Go Payui. He's the exiled crown prince. And let's just say he's carrying around some serious baggage.
Oh, no. Like what? What kind of baggage are we talking about?
Well, for starters, he's got a major grudge against, well, everyone. Not to mention a disfigured nose, courtesy of his dear departed brother.
Yikes. Not exactly someone you'd want to share a kingdom with. Who else is on the list of potential husbands?
Well, there's the charmer we talked about earlier, Goguryeo, the callous tyrant. And we can't forget about the youngest prince, Goguryeo.
Oh, a youngest prince? They're usually more of the, sensitive overlook type. Is he a contender?
He actually seems like a decent guy. Very loyal to his brother's memory.
Yeah.
Which, isn't exactly a common trait in this court.
True. Very true. Okay, so she's got options, but who does she end up with?
This is where things take a turn. No one, and I mean no one, saw this coming. She initially makes it seem like she's leaning towards Goguryeo, playing the he's so different from his brother's card.
Ooh, I see where you're going with this. A classic case of misdirection. But we know Queen Woo-hee, she's always got a plan.
Exactly. She actually uses the threat of marrying Go-balki, Mr. Callous Tyrant himself, to scare the other factions. Talk about a power move. And you know what? It actually works. She ends up choosing the fourth prince, Go-yeon-woo.
Wait, the fourth prince. Hold on. I don't remember him at all. Who is this guy?
That's the thing. He's not a major player at the start, which, when you think about it, works out perfectly for Queen Woo-hee. He's described as vain, easily manipulated, basically, her puppet.
It's a classic move, right? Align yourself with someone who's not necessarily the strongest, but who'll let you call the shots from behind the scenes. But now I can't help but wonder, with all these twists and turns, how accurate is any of this? Did all of this really happen?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it's something the reviewer and viewers spent a lot of time debating. So are you ready to separate fact from fiction? Let's dive in. All right, let's get into it. Historical dramas, you gotta love them, but sometimes it feels like they play a little fast and loose with the facts. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's always a balancing act, right? You want to keep things exciting for the viewers, but you also don't want to rewrite history entirely. And in this case, the reviewer points out a few times where Queen Wu might have, well, favored the drama over the history books.
Really? Like what? Spill the tea? Which parts had viewers raising their eyebrows?
Well, remember, Queen Wu Hee's grand escape from the palace, the one where she outsmarted everyone by triggering that rockfall.
Oh, yeah. That was a close one. So what about it?
Well, some people weren't too keen on the whole preset rockfall trap being just, sitting there, untouched, ready to go. They thought it was a bit too convenient.
I see their point. It does make you wonder about the logistics of it all, right? Like, those rocks just sat there for decades waiting for their moment. Come on.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. It does make you wonder if maybe the writers just really wanted a thrilling escape scene and, well, historical accuracy took a back seat.
It happens. But that wasn't the only detail that sparked some debate. Viewers were also buzzing about Queen Wu Hee's final resting place. What's the story there? Why so much buzz about a burial site?
So here's the thing. Historically, she's buried next to her second husband, Goguryeo. The one she strategically chose to keep her power, not King Go-Namu, the one she supposedly loved.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that definitely changes things a bit. No wonder viewers were talking. What do you think? Political move? A final checkmate from beyond the grave? Or something else entirely?
Right. It's crazy to think about how these historical figures from centuries ago can still spark so much discussion and debate. It reminds us that they weren't just names in a history book. They were real people with real emotions, ambitions, and relationships just like us.
Absolutely. And that's what makes studying history so fascinating. We're always trying to piece together the past, trying to understand the why behind the what. But speaking of things that make you go, the reviewer also mentioned something about King Sansang and how he's depicted, right?
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. So we know that Go Yanwu eventually becomes King Sansang, right? And history remembers him as a pretty solid ruler, wise, decisive, brought stability back to the kingdom. But in the show,
Let me guess, not so much?
not even close. They paint him as this weak-willed guy, easily manipulated, especially by, you guessed it, Queen Wu Hee.
There's that power struggle again. It makes you think, right, what's the real story? Where does the truth lie?
Yeah.
I guess we'll never really know.
Exactly. And it's something to keep in mind with any historical drama. They're designed to entertain, first and foremost. But maybe that's okay. If a show gets people thinking about history, wanting to learn more, I think that's a win.
I totally agree. It's a jumping off point, right? A way to spark curiosity. So, to our listeners, if Queen Wu inspired you to do a little digging of your own, share your discoveries with us.
Yes. We want to hear from you. What resonated with you? Did you find any interesting facts about Queen Wu Hee, the Goguryeo era, or anything else that caught your attention? Let us know.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into Queen Wu. What an amazing journey. Thank you to our expert for breaking it all down for us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and we'll catch you on our next adventure into the world of historical K-dramas.